Welcome to Remember When. We're going to have a story here about the history of Hires root beer. Charles Elmer Hires, a pharmacist from Philadelphia, was inspired by the growing popularity of root tea, a beverage made from roots, herbs, and spices believed to have medicinal properties. Hires, intrigued by the idea of creating a non-alcoholic alternative with a similar flavor profile, set out to develop his own recipe for root beer. Drawn upon his knowledge of botanicals and herbal remedies, Hires meticulously experimented with various ingredients, blending them in precise proportions to achieve the perfect balance of flavors. After months of trial and error, he finally crafted a recipe that he believed captured the essence of the original root tea while offering a refreshing, effervescent twist. Introduction at the Centennial Exhibition in 1876. The stage was set for Hires to unveil his creation to the world at the 1876 Centennial Exhibition in Philadelphia, a prestigious event celebrating the 100th anniversary of American independence. Amidst a bustling crowd of exhibitors and spectators, Hires showcased his root beer, presenting it as a novel beverage that captured the spirit of American innovation and ingenuity. Visitors to the exhibition were captivated by the unique flavor and refreshing qualities of Hires root beer. Its effervescence, coupled with hints of sassafras, wintergreen, and other aromatic herbs, delighted the palate and left a lasting impression on those who sampled it. Word quickly spread about his new temperance drink, and the demand for Hires root beer extract soared. Expansion and bottling, the late 19th century. Buoyed by the success of his root beer at the Centennial Exhibition, Charles Hires seized the opportunity to expand his business. He established bottling plants in key cities across the United States, enabling mass production and distribution of Hires root beer to a wider audience. To further promote his beverage, Hires implemented innovative marketing tactics that were ahead of their time. He adorned his bottles with colorful labels featuring eye-catching designs and bold typography, ensuring that they stood out on store shelves. He also launched advertising campaigns in newspapers and magazines, extolling the virtues of his root beer as a wholesome, family-friendly beverage. As Hires root beer gained popularity, it became synonymous with summertime refreshment and social gatherings. From soda fountains to drugstores and roadside stands, it was served in a variety of settings, delighting customers young and old with its creamy texture and distinctive flavor. Acquisition by the Coca-Cola Company in 1980, Hires root beer caught the attention of the Coca-Cola Company, which recognized its potential as a valuable addition to its portfolio of beverages. In a strategic move to diversify its product offerings, Coca-Cola acquired the rights to Hires root beer, cementing its place within the Coca-Cola family. Under Coca-Cola's stewardship, Hires root beer continued to be produced and distributed, maintaining its classic formula and timeless appeal. Coca-Cola's global reach and marketing prowess helped introduce Hires root beer to new generations of consumers around the world, ensuring its longevity and enduring popularity. As tastes and preference evolved in the 21st century, Coca-Cola made efforts to revitalize the Hires root beer brand, positioning it as a premium beverage with a nostalgic charm. The packaging was updated with modern graphics and branding elements, while the recipe remained true to its original roots, preserving the authentic flavor that had made Hires root beer a household name. In addition to traditional bottled formats, Hires root beer was introduced in new formats to appeal to contemporary consumers, including cans, fountain drinks, and ready-to-drink options. Marketing campaigns leveraged the brand's rich heritage and cultural significance, tapping into nostalgia while also highlighting its relevance in today's beverage landscape. Today, Hires root beer remains an enduring symbol of American culture and tradition, cherished for its rich history, distinctive flavor, and nostalgic appeal. It continues to be enjoyed by millions of people around the world who savor its creamy taste and effervescent fizz. Backyard barbecues to ice cream parlors to family gatherings, Hires root beer is a fixture at social occasions, bringing people together and evoking fond memories of summers past. Its iconic logo, featuring the image of a frothy mug overflowing with root beer, is instantly recognizable and synonymous with the quality and taste. As the beverage industry continues to evolve, Hires root beer stands as a timeless classic, a testament to the enduring power of a great tasting drink and the vision of its founder, Charles Elmers Hires. Its legacy lives on, inspiring new generations to raise a glass and toast to a simple pleasure of life. Welcome to Remember When. As the tumultuous 60s gave way to the groovy 70s, America found itself at a crossroads, grappling with the legacy of the past and the uncertainties of the future. The Watergate scandal shook the foundations of trust and integrity in government, as President Richard Nixon's administration came under scrutiny for its illegal activities and abuse of power. The resignation of Nixon in 1974 marked the end of an era as the nation sought to heal the wounds of division and mistrust. Yet, amidst the turmoil of politics and scandal, the 70s were also a time of cultural vibrancy and creativity. Disco became the defining sound of the decade, with its infectious beats and glamorous style dominating the airwaves and dance floors. Studio 54, the legendary nightclub in New York City, became the first epicenter of the disco culture, attracting celebrity, artists, and socialites from around the world. The rise of feminism and women's liberation brought new opportunities and challenges for women in society as they fought for equality and autonomy in the workplace and beyond. The passage of Title IX in 1972 paved the way for greater gender equity in education and athletics, while the Roe v. Wade decision in 1973 legalized abortion nationwide, sparking fierce debate and controversy that goes on today. Meanwhile, the energy crisis and economic downturn cast a shadow over the decade, and inflation soared and unemployment rose. Gasoline shortages and long lines at the pump became a common sight as Americans grappled with the reality of energy dependency and resource scarcity. The Vietnam War dragged on, claiming the lives of thousands of young soldiers and dividing the nation along the ideological lines. Yet, amidst the challenges and uncertainties, the 70s were also a time of innovation and progress. Here's another story. In the early 20th century, America stood at a crossroads. The rise of the automobile had transformed the nation's landscape, but its roads were still a patchwork of dirt paths and gravel trails, ill suited for the growing number of cars and trucks that crisscrossed the country. In the bustling city of Chicago, one man dared to dream of a better way, a modern highway that would connect the heartland of America to the golden shores of California. His name was Thomas Rutherford, and his vision would become Route 66. Thomas, as a young engineer with a passion for innovation and a deep love for his country, born and raised in the bustling metropolis of Chicago, he had seen firsthand the transformative power of transportation. From the horse-drawn carriages of his youth to the roaring locomotives that crisscrossed the nation, Thomas understood the vital importance of efficient, reliable transportation. But as the automobile began to revolutionize American life, Thomas saw that the country's roads were woefully inadequate. They were little more than rutted dirt paths, impassable in bad weather and treacherous to navigate. Even in the best of times, something had to be done, he thought, to bring America's roads into the modern age. Inspired by the success of Europe's growing network of highways, Thomas began to formulate a plan. He envisioned a single continuous road that would stretch from the bustling streets of Chicago to the sun-drenched beaches of California. I'll continue this on the next one. Welcome to Remember When, the fabulous 50s. The 1950s, a decade of prosperity, optimism, and cultural renaissance. With the war finally behind them, the Americans embraced a newfound sense of freedom and abundance. As the nation entered a period of unprecedented economic growth, suburban neighborhoods sprung up across the landscape, offering the promise of the American dream to millions of families seeking a better life. Town, the iconic symbol of suburbanation, became a model for communities nationwide, with its rows of identical houses and manicured lawns embodying the aspirations of a generation. It was a time of technological innovation and consumerism, as Americans' love affair with the automobile reached new heights. The rise of the interstate highway system transformed the way people traveled, opening up vast stretches of the country to exploration and adventure. Drive-in theaters and diners became popular hangouts for teenagers, providing a space for socialization and entertainment under the stars. Cultural icons such as Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe captivated the nation with their charisma and talent, leaving an indelible mark on the fabric of popular culture. rock and roll emerged as the soundtrack of the generation, with its infectious rhythms and rebellious spirit capturing the hearts and minds of young people across the country. Television also came of age during this time, with shows like I Love Lucy and The Ed Sullivan Show, becoming must-watch programs for families gathered around the living room. Yet, amidst the prosperity and progress, the 1950s were also a time of profound social change and unrest. The civil rights movement gained momentum as African Americans fought for equality and justice in the face of segregation and discrimination. The landmark Supreme Court decision in Brown versus Board of Education marked a significant step forward in the struggle for desegregation, setting the stage for a transformative event of the decades to come. The Swinging 60s. Welcome to the Swinging 60s, a decade of revolution, rebellion, and cultural upheaval. As the post-war baby boom generation came of age, they challenged the status quo and reshaped the world in their own image. From the streets of San Francisco to the campuses of Berkeley, young people rallied against the establishment, calling for an end to war, inequality, and injustice. The civil rights movements reached its zenith during this time, as Martin Luther King Jr. led marches and protests demanding an end to segregation and discrimination. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 represented major victories in the fight for racial equality. Yet the struggle continued in the face of entrenched opposition and violence. Meanwhile, a cultural revolution was underway as the counterculture movement swept across America, challenging traditional norms and values. Hippies embraced the ideals of peace, love, and harmony, rejecting materialism and consumerism in favor of communal living and spiritual exploration. The Summer of Love in 1967 brought thousands of young people together in San Francisco's Haight-Ashbury district as they celebrated music, art, and alternative lifestyles. Music became a powerful force for social change as artists like Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, and the Beatles used their songs to protest war and injustice. The British invasion brought a wave of fresh sounds and styles to American shores, as bands like the Rolling Stones and The Who captured the imagination of audiences around the world. Woodstock, the iconic music festival held in upstate New York in 1969, became a symbol of the era's spirit of peace, love, and unity.